going there, guys? Welcome to my Dark Souls special vid. It's going to be a discussion, an open forum to anybody who's excited about Dark Souls 2. In this video, I'll be giving away, basically giving a big rundown of the starting classes and the starting gifts, and a little bit of information I've learned so far throughout through all the trailers and whatnot that's come out. So let's just hop right into it. Start off with the warrior. One thing to note about these classes, though, is that I don't think they all start with a shield. Like Dark Souls and Demon Souls before it, every class, no matter what it was, always started with at least one shield and one weapon, even if it was really crappy. They go out of their way to state right next to the warrior is that starts with shield. The knight itself says no shield. And if you look at all the as they come forward, all the pictures of all the characters, none of them seem to have a shield on their back or on their side. The only one that does seems to be the warrior, so I really don't think anything starts with a shield, but don't quote me on that. Yep, warrior's highest stat seems to be strength, and out of all the classes he seems to have the highest strength stat, so that might be the one I start with. Next up we have the knight. Basic knight right there, highest stat is Vigor. Yep, and they go out of their way to say that there is no shield on it. Alright, next up is the swordsman. Little special note by it that its stats starts with an upgraded longsword and scimitar, so it has both of those in its inventory, and no shield for that either. Bandit is up next, and it says that it has a bow. I'm not sure if it has any other weapon. Weird thing though is in Dark Souls, Bandit was one of the best strength classes you could start with, and had a battle axe. I'm not sure if they have it in this one. He doesn't have it in his picture, and I'm not sure if he has one or not. Next up is Cleric. Basic Cleric. You already know it starts with a Miracle Heal, and has a basic high faith stat. Right after that, followed by that, is Sorcerer. You already know it. You should already know that it gets Soul Arrow to begin with. Very high basic intelligence stat. Right after that is Explorer. Doesn't excel in any particular area. It's pretty basic all around, except for adaptability. That seems pretty high. And the one thing that they go out of their way to tell you is that it starts with many items. And I'm guessing those items have to do with like bombs and magic bombs and things like that. And the last, but most certainly not least, is Deprived, which is in every game has the 6 stats, 6, all that stats. And it starts the game with no club, no shield, no nothing. It starts empty-handed, so good luck with that. Classes that look really good, I'd probably say Warrior seems to be the one that's screaming the best one right now. That and Swordsman, with 2 upgraded swords, no shield. I'm pretty sure they're not going to deprive you of a shield the entire game, or at least you should be able to find one, I hope so. That and, yeah, Swordsman and Warrior seem to be the 2 that look good to me. I don't know, tell me what you guys think. Classes that aren't for the faint of heart, I'd probably say Deprived. Yeah, if you're not good at the game, do not pick Deprived, unless you want to struggle. There is one rumor that I heard a while back, though, that there was a way to reset your souls. So let's say you level up to level 50, you would actually be able to go back down to your either starting level or level 1, I'm not sure which one, and reissue all your souls out to whatever levels you wanted. I'm not sure if that's true or not, that was just a rumor. Alright, without that, let's go on to part 2 of it. The starting gifts. One starting gift, obviously, is nothing. You could pick nothing. Number 2, Life Ring, which obviously it increases your HP a little bit. Just like the Tiny Beans ring from Dark Souls 1. The next gift is Human Effigy, which is essentially the new humanity of this game. It revives you to full human form. The next gift is a pretty helpful gift, and it's something that will help a lot of beginners out. It's called Healing Wares. If you haven't heard, in this Estus Flask, when you first start off the game, you get an Estus Flask. In the previous game, you had 5 to start with. In this one, You only get one to start with, and you have to upgrade it throughout the game, but you only get one Estus Flask. And from what I understand, the life gems are not easily dropped, so pretty much one heal, that's it. Healing Wares is the next starting gift, which gives out a combination of gifts. It's, I believe it's 20 life gems, 5 radiant life gems, and 1 brilliant life gem. So that'll help a lot of people out if they're having struggle with the part of the game. Next one is Homeward Bone. That warps you to the last bonfire you rest at. Next two are pretty interesting items. Next three, actually. Bonfire Aesthetic. You can burn it at a bonfire. It increases the difficulty of enemies within that spawn near that bonfire. The only thing that it doesn't really say, though, is that does it last forever? Does it last for a half hour? How long does it last? Next time you die, doesn't really say. Next item is Seed of a Tree of Giants. It is inedible and makes mobs hostile towards invaders, so that would help with people who don't really want to do PvP and they want basically the enemies within that area. And once again, it really doesn't say how long that lasts. And for how many invaders it does it for, it doesn't really say. Just that's the only information. And the last, a lot of people call this the troll item, but it's called Petrified Something. And that's a literal statement. It's called Petrified Something. And the description reads, may be useful to complete certain tasks. Some people think this is the pendant item. I don't think it is. I think FromSoft is doing a troll within a troll. They think that we would think that it's the pendant, so that way they make it not the pendant. The reason I say that, though, is because I just read a recent Game Informer article where the guy who was playing the game, he's recalling his first 5 hours with the game, and he's talking about a knight who wants you to help remove a statue from the tower. Anyway, this is what he says. Quote, I come across said tower, and the statue is even more disturbing than I thought. It's a woman who looks to have been trying to flee, but has turned into stone just as she was trying to open a door. She's petrified in front of the door's lever. Yeah, the game seems to have something to do with petrified. There seems to be something in the game that petrifies people, turns them to stone. And maybe somewhere in the game you get something that would unpetrify you. I don't know. Interesting. Alright, next let's move on to a little bit of the covenants. There's really not much known. A little bit here and there. They have two listed on the wiki as co-op covenants. One is the Sun Bros, called the Knights of the Sun. And one from the beta, which is called Way of the Blue, which is you help other people who are in the, where is it at? Oh, I'm sorry, Way of the Blue, you actually receive help from invaders, that's what it was. PvP covenants, they're stated as, is the Brotherhood of Blood, which is essentially the new Dark Race. The Blue Sentinels is basically you're the Phantom that helps other people who are invaded. The new covenants, Bell Keepers, and I assume you protect bells of some sort, obviously, but it's probably similar to the Darkroot Garden, where you had to basically, anybody who entered that forest, you were summoned automatically. Maybe there's like a top of a church where there's bells are, maybe you're summoned automatically to invade anybody who that. You seem to have a blackish hue when you invade, which looks pretty cool. There's one called the Company of Champions, which I saw a video a while back. Somebody, I think it was VatiVidya, something like that, but it was, I think it essentially increases the difficulty of the game. How? I don't know. I'm not sure if it's just regular enemies or if it summons like Black Phantom enemies to your world, but that's pretty cool. There's like literally no information. It's called the Abyss Covenant. I have no idea. And the last two are not really stated as anything. Nobody really knows what they do yet, but it's called the Ancient Covenant and the Rodent Covenant. As in like rats and mice, the Rodent Covenant. I know, that's pretty interesting. Alright, last little bit of notes of this is, I did play the beta test a while back. I did like it. Although I did think the bosses were a little too easy. I really hope, either if those two bosses are in the game, I hope that something new is added to it. Bonfires, a little bit has been changed from that. You no longer need the Lord Vessel. you actually get a warp. You can actually warp from the very beginning. One thing that confuses me, though, is that I keep hearing that you can warp anywhere you want from the beginning of the game. Does that mean you can just warp to any bonfire even if you've never been there before? Or does that mean you can only warp to bonfires that you've been to and activated? I'm pretty sure it's that later one, but I don't know, it's still a little confusing. It's pretty funny, I've heard this twice now. One from a guy who plays a voice in the game, and then one from Ouroboros the Ninja. There's actually a sex change coffin. If you pick the wrong sex, if you wanted to go male to female or female to male, there's actually a coffin that'll send you across the sea and you'll come back a different sex. It's pretty funny. Now, once again, there's a way to reissue souls that I heard a rumor of. I'm not sure if it's true or not. You can now consume more than one consumable item at a time, like souls, human FG, anything like that. I do have to give out a spoiler warning. This will recollect the first boss fight, or at least primarily the first boss that you would encounter in the game. So if you don't want to know, skip ahead or stop watching. The boss's name is called the Last Giant, and I heard he pulls off his arm and he starts fighting you with it about halfway through. I thought that was pretty cool. And that pretty much wraps up the whole discussion vid. About to start my walkthrough here in the next 5-6 days. As soon as it comes out at midnight, I will be playing the shit out of that game. Other than my own walkthrough, I will be watching other people's walkthroughs. I will be watching Mitch and James from Gamefront, Ruercon, the Sephirim 17, Dave Control Live, Terra Mantis, Game Rage 101, Venom Project, and of course Epic Lame Bro. I highly recommend you check out all those guys I just named, because they're all really good. And I'm sure I'll find other people along the way, because there's a whole lot of people starting up YouTube channels. And last part of this vid is people who make it all possible is From Software, thank you. And even Namco Bandai, you guys deserve a little credit as well, but FromSoft, I want to thank you guys for making a crazy, great game that we all love. And anyway, I'm going to officially cut myself off from the internet. I have spoiled myself enough with the Dark Souls 2 news, and I am no longer going to look up anything. I'm no longer going to type in Google Dark Souls 2, none of that. 5 days waiting until Dark Souls 2 comes out, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave any comments, likes in the comment section, and more videos to come.